to my channel. It is of course Chelsea of She Designs Things. And in today's video, we are going to be covering white hat SEO for Google Sites. All right, so you all voted and elected that this will be your next video. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. All right, so here we're going to start with And Travel Co. This is the site that we created together while you were creating the Google site with a designer. I know it kind of skipped around on parts of this one, but again, this one was quite a long Google site to create. Now, let's talk about copywriting and SEO and why you kind of need to know both in order for you to be really good at getting your SEO correct. So when it comes to SEO, specifically search engine optimization, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, okay? I particularly want to cover the nuances of SEO in regards to Google sites. And I'm going to use this as an example, and I'm also going to use my own site as an example and some of my client sites as well. I'm going to also cover a little bit of the meta information that is pulled and what isn't pulled, what you can't control and what you can control, where to place information on your Google site so it gives you the best optimization, and just generally need to know stuff regarding your, site. So first thing, a lot of people have an issue when they have their Google site and they have a logo in the corner that when they're looking at their social preview, it doesn't show them the social link, like the image that they want to see, because we have no control over that. Instead, it shows them their logo image or just their logo in general across all pages. Now, funny enough, that doesn't happen with this particular site. So here I'm just going to open up Facebook just so we can take a look to see what the social preview will look like. So I'm just going to add a link, and I'm going to paste the link for the And Travel Co. here. And as you see, it is pulling an image, but it is not the logo image. It's actually using, well, the very first image right here. So I started to wonder, how could I manipulate my Google site for my social previews and where that information is being taken from on my Google site and how that affects my search engine, like results for my business. So let's just take a closer look at all of these things. So as you see, I have sustainable travel experience and Travel Co. Travel the world while benefiting the planet. Let's take a look and see where that is on this site. We have sustainable travel experience and Travel Co., which is located as the title. That's not the document name, as you see right here. It's actually the title name. This is the title. This is the information that search engines are pulling information from. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can have a completely different title here and document name. The document name is just what it's named inside of your Google Drive. You need to be placing your SEO information for your title, for your social links, everything here. Now, what about that social preview, that preview text? What information is it taking from there? Well, travel the world while benefiting the planet. Travel the world while benefiting the planet. This is located right here. This is literally the next header in this section. All right, so I came up with this sort of example to kind of help you get started in your Google site SEO, sort of white hat SEO journey. But this also has to do with copywriting. They both go hand in hand. I don't know why people think they do not. They definitely do if you are a small business owner and if you are doing this yourself. It is super important for you to understand your website copy. It's also important for you to understand that there is a difference between copywriting for SEO and just copywriting. So what's the difference? It depends on who you ask, if you're honest. But no, seriously, there is a huge difference. Are you selling something? Are you trying to provide information? It's all a structure that goes into it. I'm going to assume that you usually have a product or service when you're talking about like your SEO and where you want to rank. So here's our example of And Travel Co. And this is something that I have, and I'll link down below for you to be able to get this similar guide. It's not the same as this one with all of the information in it, but it's sort of the smaller version of this. So here we have And Travel Co. And we have the type of business you have along here on the side. So your business type, and then what your business does, your SEO tags, your meta description, meta keywords, excuse me. And then these are the example meta descriptions. I still have my example meta description, even though there's no way for me to put this inside of my Google site. It's not possible. So a lot of people are like, man, I really want to have this information here. How do I put information for the meta description, which is the description that shows up when people are searching for your site. But I will say this, just because you're not able to put this information in here does not mean that it is not being read somewhere else. This information is being pulled from the H1 tag, your title tag. Yes, I know, it's pretty weird. So here is what this will look like, basically what my site looks like when I'm talking about that meta description. The H1, so the title text, is I create easy to use graphic and web designs for the not so tech savvy. So if we go ahead and open up my Google site panel, I am actually changing my site. Woohoo! So if we go ahead and open this up, you'll see that this is using the title text in order for me to get this information here. I know. Funny, isn't it? So this is the information it's going to use to create that preview on, say, search engines. However, this header is the information it's deciding to use for social links. Now, do you guys follow? It's not using this information here that's also located in here. No, it's going to use this information here because this is the heading, and this information here because this is the title. And this, okay, you can't see it, let me pull it down. This that says web designer is what it's going to use on that page. Yay! All right, so moving forward, now let's just take another closer look here. We have, if you have your logo is white, I've come to realize if your logo is white, no contrasting colors, then it's going to grab whatever the next image is. And for me, that image that is not a background image is the one of the lady sitting down, hence why it is showing up over here along the side. Now I have, again, this document, and this section of the document is available, and it's mostly for the home page, but I kind of want to break it down just so you can understand a little bit of the copywriting part of it. But this isn't about the SEO. This is just making sure that you have this content on your site. Well, this is SEO too, because you have to have a well-written page in order for, anyways, there's a lot that goes into it. So I just wanted to make this guide, especially for Google sites. If you're, trying to, well, get this structure down and have it correct, especially when you don't want to do something like scrupulous stuff like hiding links and creating a whole bunch of chaos. And in case you didn't know, Google does have a sort of guide that you can go off of in the Google Search Central, which will give you sort of the fundamentals of SEO. Ironically, though, a lot of the things that they ask you to do, you can't do in your Google site. So that kind of makes it a little bit of a bummer. But as long as you stick to the things I've already told you about where to place information, you can kind of work around some of the little kinks. So here is a real world example of how SEO in Google sites can be used effectively. I am using my client's site who just launched. This is Cupcake Castle Travel Company, and we just redesigned their Google site homepage. Now, we're not done with their total branding, so I don't want to go into too much details, but I wanted to kind of show you a little bit of what I've been doing for their SEO. I still need to place a title on here. I haven't designated what the title will be just yet, as far as like the H1, not the title, but the H1. And once I do that, that is actually going to raise this SEO score from 81 to probably close to whatever Neil Patel's is. Actually, I can tell you, as of this recording today, his is 85, and my client's is pretty close. Like, just look at that. Do you have any idea how proud I am of my ability to create really well designs and SEO inside of Google Sites? Like, I am so proud of myself right now. I am so happy. But I digress. This is only one platform to measure. There are others that go into this, but I do want to share with you what the site looks like and what I'm doing in the site that is going to kind of, make things a little bit tricky, but how I'm able to work around them. So I am using a embed here in order for me to display this vacation planning, and then the allow our agents, yada yada yada, and then this button. So this information is not being read, unfortunately. There's nothing I can do about it not being read, but everything else on here I have full control over. The only thing we don't have control over is the fact that it's using this first image right here in order to create that social link or social preview. Now, I know that my client wants to have a very specific target audience since we did this redesign. And actually, let me just refresh so I can show you some of the things that I have done on this site that I have not done in others. So we'll refresh from here. If you look, the button slides up as an animation, and as I scroll down, this button slides up as an animation. These are counters, and they look beautiful on mobile devices. I'm so happy about that. Yes, I have counters. And this again is another, same as in here, just a container with text and a button. And then this is what I've done strictly for the home page. I wanted to make sure that all the other pages, I did not have to use any of these HTML buttons, because they do open up in another window, which isn't something that we want to happen. We want it to open up in the same window, but I have no control over that in the Google site. And down at the bottom right here, I am using the Elf site in order to have this. Be careful with Elf site. Originally, this was in the footer because it was easier. However, with Elf site, if you have it in the footer, the minute you go and visit another page, it'll count against your quota. And I just think that's absolutely ridiculous. It's just ridiculous to me. So I do advise against that. Now, my client is using she originally had a site that had, regular links. I decided that it would make more sense for the style and aesthetic that she wanted to have that we use buttons instead in order to create the links to her page. And so we have these buttons that have been added to her site. So when you click on the About page, it'll just open up in the same window. It is still the same Google site. And then I redesigned, so this is her, redesigned the her page as well as the agent pages, and we're still working on a few other redesigns. I have her blog, which has been redesigned inside of a Blogger to allow her to monetize, but I digress. This is a great example of a Google site that is using its limitations to still create a beautiful design and still rank pretty well and have really good SEO, results. And that makes me so happy. So again, it's just making sure that you know what's missing inside of the Google site in order to make it better. Now, obviously the domain name is long, I can't change that, but there are things that I can change, like the social link previews, the OG description, which the OG description is located right here, which is curated Disney vacations planning specialist. And if we go back onto the site and I take you back to the homepage, it says that right across here, curated Disney vacations planning specialist. Yeah, super happy. So now I just gotta decide where I want for the H1 tag. yeah, still got to find a title. Anywho, all right. So last bit of information for this little bit of a guide. On my latest guide, I am actually going to offer this as a full sort of guide. If you want, it'll be like $5, and it'll have more information and some of the same information I covered, as well as additional pages in how to write copywriting for Google sites specifically. And you'll be able to purchase this guide along with the additional pages pretty soon, since I'm getting ready for my 1-year anniversary of being in business. Yeah, super happy. 1 year of She Designs Things. And I have so many special things in store for you all. All right, so again, scrolling on down, I do have this copywriting section here that I do kind of want to go over because it does pertain to this site over here, but I want to make it pretty simple. So we have the header section. This is where we have that H1 tag, which is the title, a way to see the world without leaving a trace. And again, if you scroll up, that's this side right here that says a way to see the world without leaving a trace. And then coming back down, we have the paragraph information, and then the call to action. We have our button, which again is learn more. This is literally the first section, the hero section, the section that people see. And honestly, I really like the way that it came out for a Google site. It functions as it should. And I believe that once the design is completed and I offer it as a part of a separate service that I'm doing, that whoever decides that they want to buy that specific site will be pretty well off, as long as they followed my instructions pretty detailedly. All right, so again, we have offer something. So that is where you wanna, where did I put it? Offer something. I actually add an enticing offer here, but it's basically just offering something. And that is where we have this offer right here. Featured experience is an offer in this example. So we have that featured experience, we have our information about that experience, and then we have our call to action, which is just to view the itinerary. And then we have our services section. In the services section, we do have this mini header, which is the art of sustainable travel. And if you go and take a look, and I'm just going to pull up the site right over here, the art of sustainable travel is located right here. So we're telling that story for our site. So art of sustainable travel. And then what happens right after the art of sustainable travel, I put the same text that's in the art of sustainable travel in this paragraph section here. Now I have our call outs section, which is a little bit different from your typical, like what we offer, blah, 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 because I've already kind of said what our services are. Now, as a part of the call out section, we have in the services section. I know. Completely mind blown, right? Like how does that work? Well, it's very simple. We don't want the homepage to be super long. There's just things you don't need to have a nice, well-written website with good copy. So for here, this is a part of our call out section, which we have our services section. Ecological lodging. That just threw me off. I should change that. So ecological accommodations, let's just put that. And then what it is that's we work with thousands of local businesses in our trip destinations area to find eco-friendly and sustainable accommodations. Ecological lodging options are becoming more popular as they offer travelers a way to minimize their impact on the environment. So what are we doing here? We are not only just stating what we do, but also how what we do is benefiting the traveler, the person. You're not going to worry about having such a big or large impact on our environment when you decide you want to travel with And Travel Co. We take care of that for you. I did really well in my marketing class. I gotta say, that was a really cool class. I actually did in my marketing class. Google was what I selected. Go figure. All right, so we kind of get the services section. You get a brief understanding for what needs to go there. And then A little bit of a about us is right after. I don't go into full detail. Right after this bit of call out section that's also featuring a little bit of the services in here, we have the about us. Learn more about how you can help reduce the effects of greenhouse gas emissions by traveling with us. So that is making it the person who's seeing it the forefront, and then also still being able to specify that this is going to go to the about us page, how we are helping you benefit the environment. Then we have our social proof, which for us is going to be our partners. Again, this is a fake travel agency, so please don't come for me. These are real organizations, but this ain't a real travel agency. Y'all can't book nothing with me. Okay, so we have this here. And then we have some featured destinations, which will be right after the social proof. That is our call to actions to give people an idea of some enticing places that they want to go, the featured destinations. And then the call to actions for those featured destinations is to view the destinations. Again, copywriting and SEO is going to be completely different based on the industry that you're working in. But the formula to create a good SEO friendly Google site is going to be the same. So just to recap. So final recap over here. We have the example. We're using our and Travel Co. This is a travel business, so we need to have the business name. This is the logo that's up here is white. So because we're using a white logo, it's going to render the very next image as our social link preview, which is located, you can see here, right here. Never the background image. Never the background image. I mean, I think I've seen it use the background image once, but don't quote me on that. Thus far, we're going to go with this is the image it's selected. Next, we need to have, for the sake of SEO, a title. The title is not the same as your OG description. I want to make that clear. We have the title here, which is a way to see the world without leaving a trace. This is a different sort of title than the title that is used on search engines, which is right across here, which is Sustainable Travel Experience. And then we have the and Travel Co. So once more for those in the back, because I know this part is probably the most confusing. We have the H1 header, which is not the header text in Google Sites. That is actually the title, and you should only have one title on your page. For me, I'm using a way to see the world without leaving a trace. Actually, no, I'm using, what's that other one? Right here. Yeah, a way to see the world without leaving a trace. That is the title text that I'm using for this Google site. Now, what's being pulled for the social previews is the header text. Header. Very next header, which is travel the world while benefiting the planet. So I'm going to scroll up inside of here just so you can see. We have the Sustainable Travel Experience and Travel Co., which is right across the top, which is the title. Two titles here. I want to make sure we're clear on that. There are two titles here. This is the title that we're using on the social previews. And then this is also the title that we're using for the site. We do not have a meta description. Don't worry about that though. What is going to be pulled for your meta description is technically the H1 tag. So that actual title tag. So if this was a live site, I would see a way to see the world without leaving a trace as the description that shows up on search engines. Scrolling down here inside of the sociability, you'll actually see that they have the preview here for Sustainable Travel Experience and Travel Co., but they do not show the title information here, but I just know for a fact that that's the information that they're gonna pull. All right, so here we have all of these here. H1 only, a way to see the world without living in the trace. H2, travel the world while benefiting the planet. Again, travel the world while benefiting the planet is what we'll use for social previews. This is likely what's going to be used for the search engine, a way to see the world without leaving a trace. Yay. And it's long. Don't make it too short. If it's too short, it's not usually read correctly. All right, so scrolling on back down. Again, this information is inside of my, I'll leave a link to it just so you can check it out. The only thing is the full document won't be available. This part is though. However, we have the title, subheader, call to action, just a general breakdown of what needs to go on the homepage. Now, if you do decide you want to buy like the full copywriting for Google Sites, it will feature general standard pages, not just the homepage, but I mean homepage, about page, contact us page. Generally speaking, what would a good copyright look like on those pages? All right, and then of course I have this with the example as well, just so you can see. We have our call out section, the services, about us, social proof, call to action. And again, all of this information is being pulled on the Google site. And for an example, once more, we have my client, who is Cupcake Castles Travel Company. And we are using the hidden, I like hid all the links because there's like literally a bunch of pages. I think there's like over 100 pages in her site. And then what we decided to do, if I can show you, here we have it, 81%. And it's going to just get better since I am regularly checking and updating it based on the latest information from Google. All right, so I know this video was a little bit chaotic and kind of all over the place. As usual, I'm a little bit messy at times, but I do hope this makes sense as far as the structure to help you start your SEO for your Google site. It's very simple. Just follow what I told you, and I'll leave a link to this guide in the description, as well as a link to the full guide for you to purchase in my shop. All right, thanks so much for watching, and of course, see ya.